Hi, Facebook. Hi, my name is Jerry. We're coming to you today from Costa Rica. I'll wait a minute or two to get some people to build. Our company is called Rythmia. We're Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica. We're the world's only medically licensed plant medicine healing center. Hi, guys. Hey, Sven. Good to see you. Hi, Amy. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Heidi. Great to see you guys. We have a really interesting one today. I had a wonderful week here. We had Graham Hancock here, who had the time of his life. I was just so amazed that I could actually do medicine, with Graham Hancock. It was crazy. It is a crazy week, kind of a highlight for us, And my wife was here this week, so I had a great thing. We had about 55 on retreat, and it was really amazing. It was such a super powerfully healing, crazy, wonderful week. And today we want to talk about a couple of different things. But one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to introduce our guest in a new little segment here called I Got My Miracle. Somebody just like you who came here and had this thing happen. And this week, I believe we had 53 guests in true to form. About 51 got the miracle that they wanted, this miracle that I talk about here. And before I tell you anything about the thing, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Jerry Powell. I'm an ex-businessman. I was involved in business for many years. I was a successful guy. Became a millionaire in my 20s. Blah blah blah. In my 40s, I sold a company for $94 million. But I was a wreck. My life was out of control. It was the worst life that anybody could ever lead. I was the worst guy that I know. Fact. Through God's grace and the miracle of plant medicine, an event happened in my life. I tried to commit suicide 2 times previous to that, and the last time I tried to commit suicide, I had about $70 million. So my life was crazy. And anyway, through the miracle of plant medicine, my life changed, and it changed overnight. It changed immediately, and the plant medicine taught us all these different things about what life is about what love is about. And anybody who tells you the answers to this shit is fucking lying, because they don't. But what I can tell you is this, is the thing that changes you, is that you understand that love is the only thing. And that's the thing with this plant medicine. I want to tell you a little bit about it. So this thing happened in my life. And the plant medicine explained to us that in everybody's life, in every person's life, between when they were conceived and about 5 years old, they leave their soul out of safety. Now, in my case, it was because I was getting sexually molested when I was 3. Most people leave because they didn't get fed on time, and they leave themselves, and then out here they become the doctor, the lawyer, the Indian chief, the class clown, the class slut, daddy's little girl, daddy's little boy, mommy's little girl, mommy's little boy. They become this person, and they live from out here. One of the things we're going to discuss today is the test to see if you've split from yourself. It's a really simple and interesting thing. And the plants showed us that all disease, all addictions, all disorders, and all sadness come from this split. And we try to fill this split up our whole life with trying to fill it up. So we try to fill it up with trying to fill it up. So what are some things we've tried to fill it up with? Shopping is a good one. Sex, drugs, alcohol, beauty, work, a little trickier one, and even tricky. How about our kids? How about yoga? How about the pursuit of workshops? How about da-da-da? We try to fill it up with filling it up. And what I learned is, from the medicine especially, is that this life is for living. We're living in this beautiful garden of a planet called Earth, and it is a garden, and we're here, and we get to live in this thing. And what we specialize in at Rythmia is putting you back together, putting you back in your soul, putting you both together in the same sphere. That's what we do, and we're pretty good at it. We have about 94% of the people that come here, and that's electronically reported by the people who've been here. They have this life-changing miracle, and this miracle is being put back with themselves. That's the miracle that they get here, and the great part about it is it's permanent. And by permanent, I mean forever. So when this thing happens, in the words of the medicine itself, you can't undo it. You can only re-screw it. So you can't undo this. This is something that happens to you, and it happens to you for two reasons. The first reason is the agreement that you make with yourself when you put yourself back together is a soul agreement, and it's not cancelable. And the second reason is the medicine rewires how you think. I see Sven is with us, and he's just wonderful business guy, and he's the first guy that I ever ran across in the medicine side that I saw how permanent it changes and what a difference the medicine makes in your life and how it can change everything. And when I tell you that there is redemption, and I tell you, you listen to these people on Facebook and they're telling you how to live your lives and some other kind of bullshit and that they have all the answers and all that fucking shit, it's for shit. The thing is, listen to the plants, listen to the medicine, and listen to your soul, and you cannot go wrong. This thing that happens is replicable, and it's simple, and it's great. And anybody who tells you that they know about all these different things, distrust them. If somebody tells you they're woke and you're not, distrust them. If somebody tells you, now, if you see a happy person, a real happy person, pay attention to that person, because that person has something, right? And what we're in the happy factory business here. We generate people that come out of here and are happy. And I'm going to tell you what, if you think that this is easy, you're out of your mind. This life at Rythmia is a hard week of your life. This is a week of looking at yourself and telling the truth to yourself and being it. And it's the most beautiful, gorgeous event that you could ever imagine. I'm going to ask you that if you're watching this and you think a friend of yours could benefit from this, I'm going to ask you to share it. So please take 1 minute and go to the bottom of your screen and press share. Even if this is recorded and you're watching it again, please press share. Share this, because spreading the message of this place is what it's all about. And again, we had some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful healing this week. I have one of our guests here. Keita, will you come up a second and take a seat? This is our new friend, Keita.
Hi.
Keita, where are you from?
Nevada.
And how old are you?
36.
And do you have any children?
1, 14, 15 in January.
A 15-year-old girl. Okay. And what do you do for a living back home?
Taxes.
Taxes. So that's an interesting job, right? Taxes. You're dealing with people that are pissed off.
Yeah.
And they're mad, right? So,
yeah, because they have to pay all this money.
So they have to pay all this money, right? So let me ask you, Keita, when you first started thinking about coming to a place like this, tell me what was going through your mind. What was going on in your life for you to do that?
I was at the point where I was literally just about to give up. I think I've tried everything. I've read hundreds of books, meditation, yoga. Went to so many so-called gurus and, for help. Nothing didn't help. So I literally was on shutdown for 2 months. I was literally just watching Gaia for 2 months, trying to get some type of hope. And that's when I came across the movie that you're in, Reality or Truth. And then I went to the Facebook page and I started watching your videos. And as I was watching your video, I had a memory of going back to my father molesting me at 2 years old. And, I just felt like I related to you so much, and I just felt like this is the place I need to go for healing.
And let me ask you, when you first got here, were you afraid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me,
yes, I was. I was afraid, but I know it was something that I had to do. I felt it in my heart and my spirit, you have to go.
And when you were thinking about your fear, right? Were you afraid of plant medicine, or were you afraid of just being in a strange place. Tell me, what was some of the fears that you were thinking?
I think I was afraid that I wasn't going to get the healing that I got. So I was just like, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to try. If this doesn't do it, to hell, you know, I was suicidal. And I was like, I'm just going to give this is my last thing.
What's so interesting to me is that so many people are suicidal. And we call it pre-suicidal, where they'll stay in a constant state of wishing they were dead, or wishing that it would end, or just on the brink. So like you have the suicides, which are the 0.2%, and then you have this huge number of people who have contemplated it, who are thinking about it, who are unhappy with their life. And those are the people that we can help the most. How unhappy were you? Just tell me. Like you're
just very unhappy. I've been through a lot of abuse in my life, you know. I didn't know at the time that my father had molested me, but I was getting molested as far as I can remember from 5 years old by different men, you know, stepfathers, you know, family members, neighbor. You know,
I have to tell you the truth. When I heard your story, my heart broke because all of us have our story, and all of our stories are hard. But sometimes you hear a story and you think, wow, that's something. So when I heard your story, and if you feel okay, if you could just give us some the parts of that you feel is okay to share, tell us about what happened. So you believe your father molested you, and then?
You know, I was just in just complete depression, because then a few years back I found out that my daughter got molested by my stepbrother. And, you know, just watching her, it just brought up a whole bunch of shit. Like, I could curse, right?
Yeah. Well, Lord knows, I'm just with me.
It just brought up a whole bunch of shit. And, you know, at that time I thought I blocked it out, but it was still there because I was attracting all these, you know, bad relationships. And I've been single for the past 2 years. I just got to the point where I'm just like, you know what, I don't want anybody to touch me. I don't want to be with anyone. I just, you know, I'm tired. And the first night on the plant medicine, I went back.
Can I ask you before you get to that?
Okay.
So just so I remember, so your father molested you, your mother's boyfriends molested you, right? What was that?
Neighbors too.
A neighbor and a stepfather, right? Or a stepfather? And a brother. And when I heard that, I mean, I don't care who you are or what kind of a hardened person you are, but to just think about that some little beautiful human like this one right here went through all that, and then when I heard the story and I met her, I went up to her when she got here and I said, what did I tell you? I said, don't worry, it's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. But in your mind, you were thinking, probably not.
I was just like, I hope so, because shit, this is the last thing I'm gonna do.
I know.
I was just like, please let this, you know, happen. Like, please let this be real. Like, you know, God, please, because I can't take it anymore. I just can't.
I know. And she was so sweet because she didn't even know who Graham Hancock was. She was here and she was just coming for us, right? Which is 90% of the people that come here come and see the guest speaker as just an added thing that they're, you know, we see it as a huge thing, but it's another added modality to get the healing. So we believe this thing has happened. And in my class on Monday, every Monday, we explain this and how it happens and how we're going to put this back together. And so on the first night, now usually it takes most people 5, maybe 6 days of being here for that to happen. And we're successful about 93.78% out of 100. But I really, 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 my heart went out to this one, and for so many reasons. So tell us about what happened to you.
The first night I watched it, I guess wasn't ready before because I saw at 2 years old that he molested me. But it took me back to 2 weeks. He was molesting me from when I was 2 weeks to 2 years old. And it makes sense because I know my mom left him when I was 2 years old, so I'm pretty sure she found out what he was doing. And he always used to say I was his favorite, you know, always everyone said he always had me with him. So that really, it kind of makes sense, because if I was so vulnerable at 2 weeks, that's why I kept attracting these bad relationships. I had a marriage where my husband used to beat me. The few relationships that I did have, they were horrible. They were abusive some way. Either they're
some form of
abuse. Either I felt like I was just used for sex, felt like I was used for money, or just used for it was just because I was so vulnerable at 2 weeks. It shows why I became who, when my soul, on Merge. So I became this person that was just open and just too given, where you just could take from me and do whatever you wanted. And
so the first time of the medicine, it showed you that not only was it at 2 months old, it started at 2 weeks old.
2 weeks.
2 weeks old to 2 years old.
Yeah, I saw it 2 years.
And then what else happened? What happened the next night?
The second night, it was just a lot of release, and I actually felt more at peace. I was in a trance where I was just, I believe that the plant medicine was giving me peace. So it was just a lot of peace and cleansing and releasing, and just letting go. And everything was coming up of a lot of other things that I suppressed, of memories that I suppressed. At one point I remember one of my brother's friends molested me while my brother just literally lay there and laughed. Like he told him, okay, I'm going to do it now. And he said, okay. He did whatever he wanted to me, at 9 years old. And he's supposed to be my protector. You're my older brother. And he just laughed. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you do that? How do you see your little sister get molested? And it's like you set it up,
And so the medicine was showing you these replays of your life, right?
Every fucking thing that I suppressed, everything that I did not
I
didn't want to go. Didn't want to see.
So what's crazy is the things that come up when you're on the medicine are actually healing you, but we have to kind of relive it a little bit again, right? And so tell us about your healing. Tell us about what next happened.
So the third night, I literally, they all lined up, and I told every single one of them, you were wrong. And I watched all of them by one, and said they were sorry. And I said, okay, you're forgiven, and our work is done. Karma is done. And I told the plant medicine, I'm done. I'm done with all this karma. I am done. And it was a lot of crying. I literally, I was the last one there. I think I was there over an hour after everybody left. And one of the shamans was there. She was laying there talking to me, and she helped me so much. And, I was just releasing, just crying, and I couldn't walk. I'm telling you, they had to drive me to my room and walk me down the stairs and open the door, because I was just gone. Like it just releasing all that stuff. It took so much, but I forgave them, and that's what helped me heal so much, because I didn't think I could forgive them. I didn't think I could forgive my stepbrother that did the shit to my daughter. I didn't think I could forgive any of them. I didn't think I could forgive my brother. I didn't think I could forgive my mother for not being there for me. I didn't think I could forgive my father. And my father is mentally ill. So, he was definitely had to be mentally ill to do that to his daughter. And, I saw him and I said, Dad, regardless of what you did, I still love you, because I know that wasn't your true self that did that to me. And, and he told me he was sorry, and and it's like he was the same person again. And I know he has to live out his karma or whatever, but I'm just happy that I made peace with him, because to have that, I was angry. It's just like, why the fuck would you do this to me?
And so to take that from that, and then after the medicine showed you all that, tell us about what happened.
My soul emerged.
Your soul merged back in.
It emerged. It literally emerged, and I went back to my younger self at 2 weeks, and I said, I'm gonna protect you. Nothing's gonna happen to you anymore, and I held myself as a child, as a baby, and I said, I'm gonna keep you safe from now on. No more pain. It's not gonna happen again.
And then did it come back in and heal your heart?
Yes.
Did the heart piece, right?
Yes. I was glowing the Fortnite. I was like ready. I was like, okay, come, like what, you know? And my one of my main reasons too, I was saying to myself, I was like, why the fuck am I here? Like, what is my purpose? Like, all this bad shit's been happening to me. Like, really? Like, and all I've been doing is trying to help people, and all they do is turn back around and you know, fuck me over. So why should I even help them anymore? Why should I even be there? I was just at the point where I'm just like, you know, even like doing accounting, taxes, all that. I was also a massage therapist. So over the years, I'll go back to accounting, back to massaging. Even with the jobs, you know, I'll find people that just want to use me. You know, I was doing 10, 11 massages a day.
And let me ask
It
you
was
this
just
now.
abuse.
Since that change happened a couple days ago, what has happened to your story?
It's just a story.
It's just
a story. I don't feel any pain of it. Before, when I would think of it, I would literally crawl up in like fetal position and just shut down, you know, and you know, it was just terrifying just reliving all that stuff, you know, and I would smoke a lot of weed just to try to numb myself, but
who would blame you after that stuff?
you know.
Can I ask you this? So are you ready to go back to the world?
Yeah, I'm ready to help people. I'm ready to be there because I know my purpose now is to help. And one of a friend that I met here, and so there, I'm thankful for him. You know, he came to me the second day and he told me, he said, you're a healer. You know, he said, you're a shaman, you're a healer. And he said, I want you to know that your pain is your power. And that's what I've been saying. I was like, your pain is your power. So it's all that pain you went through. That's all the power you have. You have so much power, and that power, you're here to heal.
So I'm going to tell you this. So all of us have this different process, right? And when I see her, and I know, do you feel brand new? You told me you feel brand new.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy.
Have you ever felt this way?
No. The hell no. No, never.
And you're ready to go back in life, ready to go, to be grounded and to go.
Yeah, now I know that I'm not going to attract those people to me. Now
Right.
I know that I'm going to do good. And now I know that, you know, I don't have to worry about people out, you know, out there trying to get me or trying to hurt me.
No, because that whole vibration has changed. And once that changes, once you change this vibration, you now are without your story. Your story is a story, but it's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
You were living from your story, not with your story.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have that story, but it's just a story. So when you go back in life, and what I can tell the rest of the people here that are watching this, that I'm going to tell you that if you think you're afraid and afraid to come and afraid to face yourself and afraid of life and afraid of this, and tell you what, she had more reason than any of us that I know to be afraid. And she came back into her life, back into the world, back here. She came here to see herself so that these things could happen. And I'm going to tell you that if it can happen to her, it happened to another 50 people here this week. And it happens to everybody that wants it to happen to them. So if this is singing to your heart, if there's a part of you that has lost yourself, if you're wondering, hey, am I unmerged? What position am I in with your soul? First thing I want to tell you is that this thing that happens to people, it happened to her through molestation. It happened to me through molestation. But it happens to everyone because you're designed to break. You're not designed to stay together. Because if you were together, your consciousness couldn't expand from what life has given you. It couldn't. You have to get to the point that when you say, I'm alone, I'm all I have, I'm this, it's terrible, it's this, that's when the expansion comes. You've lived it. You felt that loneliness. Now it's time to put it back together. Your work is done. So the work of eating the dinner is done. Now it's time for the dessert. And the dessert is amazing. I'm going to tell you the dessert is amazing. So a lot of people say, well, Jerry, how do I know if I'm merged or if I'm not? And I'll tell you the reason. Hey, Tucker, I see Tucker. The way you can tell if you're merged is that the faces change, but the song remains the same. So now what does that mean? That means that I keep getting molested by somebody different, or I keep getting used by someone different. I can be used for money. I could be used for my job. I could be used for sex. I could be used for things other than sex. or the same thing keeps happening in my life. And the same thing is what I mean by the same thing is this. I'm on boyfriend number 60 and the same result each time. Well, that's not a boyfriend problem. That's a you problem. I'm on girlfriend 300 or I'm on marriage number 12 and it keeps ending the same way. Or I'm on job number 40 or I'm on business number 30. So the song remains the same, but the faces change. That's one way to tell that you're split, Here's the other way, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you, this is the interesting thing. So if in your life, you're 35 years old, or 45 or 55 or whatever, I'm going to use 35, you're 35 years old, and the things that you used to know and love, you no longer love. And you start asking questions like, do I even like my job? Do I want to live in blank, wherever I'm living? Maybe I should move. Maybe it ain't that you should move. It's not that you're with the wrong lover. It's not this. It's because you've been acting in a role for so long. So once you split, you become something else. And then in that something else, it's like taking on a role. So in other words, if I got a part in a sitcom and I had to stay in character for a couple years, if my part in that sitcom pretended it liked golf, but I didn't, and I played that, well, I could get psyched up and believe that I like golf, but after a period of years of acting, of being in a role, all of a sudden it goes away, and now I don't know what I like because I'm out here. So then what nature tells me to do is change things. Get a different lover, get a different house, move to a different city, get a different job, do this, do that, all this different, because, and here's the crazy thing, you can't fill this up with more shit. You can't fill it up with shit because shit doesn't fix it. So take it from me like I would try to fill it up with money or work or sex. I loved using sex because, it felt good at the moment. And as soon as you got done with the act, you could go and look for something else. So I was always in the hunt. I was predatory in that way. I was always in the hunt, and it wasted a whole bunch of time. So the same thing with money. I could go and get money, but I could never get enough. And I was just this. I consumed everything to try to fill it up. And what every time that I would stop having sex, or I'd stop making money, or I'd have to stop and nobody was around, I would feel horrible because all of what I did didn't fill it up, not even an inch. So I was like defeated, and that's what led to the suicide attempts and da-da-da-da-da. Here, what we do is we take this person, this love that's in here, this love, and put their soul back together, and guess what? One at a time, this act of doing this is changing the world. If you were going to tell anybody something, would you tell me what you would tell someone to?
Well, I'd like to say that this was not easy for me. My family already treats me bad because growing up, they used to always say I was lying. I was making all these stories up. And right now, I know if they see this video, they're all probably going to disown me, which they've done so many damn times anyway, so I don't care. And I just want to say that if it's the last thing you do, please come to Rythmia, because I was on the verge of killing myself. And I thank Jerry so much.
Aww.
And I feel like I owe him my life because I tried everything. When I mean I tried everything. And the abuse will not stop coming no matter what type of job you get, I've tried moving to different states, moved all over, like I'm just gonna get away from my family, and then something happens, I have to go right back to California. And then, just like I ran away, I just moved to Nevada a few months ago, and then I was on the point where I was just like about to give up and say, you know what, I'm just gonna move back. And, do this because it will change your life. And I might not have my blood family anymore after this, but I have a real family now. And I already know. I know when they find out that what I'm doing now, they probably won't ever speak to me again. And you know what? It's fine.
because you know what, they're served their purpose. You know, I was reincarnated into that family for a reason, to go through the shit I had to go through, the karma or whatever. And I appreciate my mom. You just have to just do it. It doesn't matter. You know, people are like, oh, it costs so much. People go to fucking Vegas and spend $500, $600 on a room a night. Like it's your life. It's your health, your well-being, you know, and it's changed my life so much. And I know it's going to change my daughter's life too. Just me healing, you know, everyone that I've met, they're like, oh my God, you look so different. You can see it in my eyes.
You look like a different person from the moment that you got here. When we first saw her, I thought, oh my God, she was like timid and shy and to herself and like mad. And I sat down with her and I said, hey, you know, it's going to be different. And she looked at me and in her eyes, she said it fucking better. But her mouth said, I hope I can get it. But she wanted it so bad. So the thing is that
I got it in 3 days.
She had it by the end of the third day.
It's 3
days.
days.
A different thing. And so I'm telling you that you know, anybody whose story is less hard than that, imagine how easy it'll be. The thing is that you have to want, your soul has to hear this, and your soul has to want to get back in the game. Because I'm going to tell you what, you can dance around this for an eternity. You can dance around this for your life and say, okay, instead of doing this, let me try something else. Let me go here. Let me try a new job. Let me try a new boyfriend. Let me try a new lover. Let me try a new wife. Let me try a new. And it's not going to do shit, because until you address this, nothing else matters. And here's the great part. Once you address this, everything works. Once you address this, then everything works. So like your vibration changes, and then what you go home to changes, and it just gets better and better and better. So I really, really, really am asking you. So if you give yourself the test and you test yourself and you say, hey, and I ask you to share this, please share this thing, because there's so many people out there who are broken. And there's so many people out there who are broken, and so many people are getting bullshitted, and so many people are getting conned, and so many people are getting hurt, and so many people are wasting time, and so many, and the heart keeps getting hurt. To save someone's heart, please share this. And if you're there and you have questions, please dial this number, 866-936-9446. We have people standing by to answer questions. They can answer if you have questions about plant medicine. A lot of people come here and they're afraid they're going to throw up. Were you afraid of throwing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
it helps. It releases a lot.
It releases a lot. So don't worry about throwing up. Don't worry about the fear of doing something like this. And today and tomorrow we'll get a whole new bunch of people. Probably. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
You know, I'm Indian, you know, and a lot of women in India, you know, they get this abuse. You know, my mother was given away when she was 14 to a 30-something-year-old man. So she got abused. Then it just goes from generation to generation. Of course, it happened before her. And, you know, to my Indian people out there, just know that, you know, this is something that you should do. You know, it might be out of your religion or whatever, but this stuff happens and it's going to keep happening. If it doesn't, after it happens to you, it's going to happen to your child, and it's going to keep going. It happened to my child, and you know, it's going to keep going and going and going and going. And I just want to say to everybody at Rythmia, they make me feel so welcome, so at peace. I thank God for all the shamans, all the healers here. They all helped me so much. So much. I wouldn't have made it without them. And the staff, everyone is just so sweet, and you know, I'm just so thankful.
Now, here's something that they might think too. They might think that your case is unique, but the people that you were here with, did everybody get there?
Yes. So many people came to me after I got up, and I just had to let it out and let them know my testimony. And so many people came up to me after. It was like, I went through something similar. Like so many people, and said they were crying to me, saying thank you so much for sharing your story, because now I don't feel alone. At first, you know, the first day you see everybody's a little distance. We're like, oh shit, you know, like, you know, we're all like, you know, what are, you know, we don't want to tell anybody what we're really here for, you know. And the second day, everyone was more loving after the first, you know, plant medicine drink, and then the third day just got more closer. Today, some people left today, and we, crying, they don't want them to go. You know, you just become a family because you find your true family here, because you find that we're all alike and you're not alone.
And what I say is this, so the healing that happens, if you looked at everybody in that room, everybody merged with their soul, got a new heart, and then you can say, like, there are different people.
Yes, they're totally different people.
So you came and you were 50 different people,
Yeah.
and you're leaving as 50 different people, right?
Yes.
So like everybody's different, right? But what I'm saying is that there's so many people that have, you know, when the thing happened with my sexual abuse, like I would have bet you $1 million that didn't happen to me. And then on the medicine, when I was shown it, and I was shown it in a video, I watched it happen to me. And I remember everything else about that day and terrible feelings about that day. And I was 3.5 years old, and I remember it. So like the thing is, there's all reasons that we split. Most of us split just because we didn't get fed on time. That's it. Because the growth that she's experienced isn't from this medicine being remerged with her soul. All the growth came from what happened before. So you did the work. You put yourself through the pain. You felt alone. And now is the time to put yourself back together, to enjoy what happens with the rest of your life, and to take part of this shift. And I know that this woman will be very, very, very involved in this shift by being a better mother, a more whole mother, being better at what she does, might even change jobs, helping people, doing the things that, living a different life around the Garden of Earth. It's a beautiful place, and I know that you're going to go out and be a different human. And that is part of the shift. That is what we're here to do. So I want to thank all of you for coming, and do me a favor, share this thing. Please share this thing, and please call this number and speak to people that can really, really help you. And although you're going to be afraid, the biggest fear people have is the fear of seeing themselves. And I have to tell you what, you're in and out of the hard part in a few days, and then you're on to nicer and happier and more beautiful times. And it really happens, and it happens here. So I love you guys. I'm going to answer some questions here for a second, if I can find out. Yeah, let's see. Let's just see. Let's see. And someone just said that you're already healing people. So that's great. What happens? How do I know if I've been split? We covered that. Let's talk about the journey here, because a lot of these questions I covered. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. So, okay, my life has changed. Carolyn Rythmia continues. Let's just see. The fear of coming, because that's one that keeps coming up here. I want people to be afraid. So here's the thing. I want you to be afraid and to do it anyway. So why do I say I want people to be afraid? I want people to be afraid so that it means something. So if you come here instead of going to Club Med, that's going to have one experience for you. But if you come here and you're afraid of the medicine, and you're afraid of seeing yourself, and you're afraid of not being healed, and you're afraid of continuing with your life the way it is, that's how to come here. And you're going to have the greatest time. And I mean, it is fun. Ella said, spoke to a man coming tomorrow. He's afraid. Told him it's okay. Thank you for saying that. Cycles don't stop until we stop them. Exactly right. But I want to tell you something. Here's the craziest part. So I'm going to tell you why the cycles don't stop. So you have this split, and I told you you're filling up the thing that you can't fill up. You're trying to. But what's crazy is once you split, the message that you send to your subconscious mind is that I'm not enough, and it gets printed on your mind, on your subconscious. And now you're being ruled by the part of you that you can't even see. And if I'm not enough is there, it's going to keep sending you into the I'm not enough box. It's on autopilot. So the cycle can't break if this doesn't change. And what we do here, because of the medicine, is we change this imprint on the mind, and it has a lasting and forever effect. And so I just want to tell you guys that to invite you all down here, and her experience will be your experience. And we're all this one family together. One thing that the medicine shows you is that I can't throw you away. I can't hurt you without hurting me. I can't help you without helping me. And that's why I want to help so many people, because we're helping the collective. We're helping each other. So please, if you have any questions, please call this number and speak to them. And I'll tell you what, it's not so much of whether you can afford to do it. It's can you afford not to do it? Is your life can you afford not to do it? And if you're completely in a terrible situation, then please enter the contest and enter it every month and try to win it. But it's not so much of whether you can afford to do it. It's whether you can afford not to do it. I'm going to tell you something. I did not have a life until I went through this thing. I didn't. And so I have one now. And I'm really joyous that I have one. This is an amazing process. So please come to Rythmia and tell me.
I've also met a few people that said they empty their bank account to come, and that's the best decision they ever made. They found who they are, who they truly are. And they're like, they don't even care that was the last money they had to come. And they're like, this is the best gift they could ever give themselves. So if it's the last thing you do it, because it will change your life. It's changed mine, and it's changed so many people. I've seen so many people in so much pain, and today they have this huge smile and they're glowing. And it's worth it. If you would spend your last day of money to go on a vacation somewhere else, like Vegas or something, gambling and all that, or wherever, this is worth your last money to come and to regain your merge back with your soul.
And I want to say something vibrationally to that effect, that a lot of us are blocked financially, and I want to talk about it. And the financial block generally stems from something here. Generally. So when you fix something vibrationally that's so core centric and deep rooted in you, when you fix it vibrationally, I've never seen anybody leave here with the merged soul and become a worse businessman, a worse employee, a worse employer, a worse husband, a worse tennis player, everybody becomes better. So that money that you invest, I see people that throw $500 a month away in every workshop that comes through. So after 10 years, you're out 50 grand or more. Let's see, that's 500 a month. That's 12, like 100 grand. And for this, for a couple $1,000, you change your life and you get your life back by all means. And I'm not selling. I'm just telling. This is what happens here. This happens week in and week out and week in, and I have the best fucking job in the world. I hate saying the F word, but I have the best fucking job in the world because I get to do this. And I'm urging you to come and to join us and to have this thing change your life. People are checking in right now that I have to go meet, but thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Keita. And thanks, and welcome back to the world.
It's the least I can do.
And happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you. God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Make sure to catch Meg tomorrow and Jeff on Monday, and Nicole on Friday or Saturday. You have to check it out. Okay, God bless you. Peace, people.